The moon in aspect to Uranus. So when you mix your moon and the planet Uranus, you're dealing with an unpredictable sense or an unpredictable, I guess, emotional nature, I guess you could say, passed down to you often from your female maternal figure. Your mother would have been somebody who would have stressed the importance to you of kind of being an individual, but more so in a Uranian, potentially a little bit crazy kind of way, which is seen a lot more obviously if you have an adverse aspect like a square or an opposition. You're going to be dealing with a maternal figure that maybe was a little bit too unconventional, a little bit too Uranian, a little bit too rebellious for her own good to the point that it could have caused you some sort of friction or frustration in a sense. When we think about Uranus in your chart, often with Uranus comes the correlation of being kind of cold, simply for the fact that Uranus, or even Aquarius energy, which is ruled by Uranus, is very unpredictable and also slightly detached due to that sense or need or desire, I guess you could say, for freedom and to not be under the control of anybody else. This is how your emotional nature is running at all times. So you're living with a very creative and innovative emotional nature, which can cause a little bit of instability in your personality. People are going to have to kind of vibe with this flow with you. They're going to have to know that you kind of desire the unpredictable. You might not necessarily always be the person who people can get close to easily simply because you don't necessarily crave that as much emotionally. A lot more like an Aquarius moon. Moon Uranus people are the kind of people that are going to get emotional over what they consider to be injustice. Injustice can come in many different forms. It can be injustice stemming from a feeling of inequality, injustice that stems from feeling like things aren't humanitarian in nature, or injustice even because they feel this desire to be able to be free, to be able to be their own individual, to be liberated. And like I said, this is passed down to you from your mother or your female maternal figure. Um, it's interesting kind of to see how that plays out and to see how the moon Uranus mother, what her relationship with is like the child with the child. Not to say that all moon Uranus aspects are going to have mothers who are cold and detached and they can't get close to, but your mother is definitely going to be a revolutionary in some sort of way. And depending on whether or not you have a more positive aspect, like a sextile or a trine, or a square in opposition, which would be more negative, the conjunction kind of fits somewhere in the middle with all of that. It can go either way, positive or negative. It's just a meshing of general energy. Um, you're really going to see a maternal figure that shaped you to feel this desire to be free and liberated, and maybe a little bit weird and quirky too. Much like the Aquarius moon, a lot of people with moon Uranus feel like they are somehow emotionally different from others. And that too can go many different ways, just like Uranus can go in any direction that it wants to. It touches down like a lightning bolt. It is quick, almost impulsive, sudden action. And that's how your emotional nature is going to be sprinkled into your interactions with others, I guess you could say. Now, if you have a more negative aspect between your moon and Uranus, there could have been times potentially where you felt this friction or frustration um, coming from your mother because you just wanted her to kind of be normal and ebb and flow with uh, the same attitudes and beliefs as everybody else, pretty much. Uranus is very unconventional, so your mother might have potentially embarrassed you in a sense by the way that she was, or she might have just been known as an oddball, and that could cause a little bit of frustration for you as a child. But you do go on to take on these traits yourself and also embody this moon Uranian flavor that is very, very different. So you can't really run away from that strange mother figure that will always kind of be within you. The only time that this can obviously get a little bit frustrating is as you get older. People might have a harder time relating to you simply because you are very unpredictable. One minute you might want comfort, the next minute you might not want comfort. One minute you might want comfort that is in a way that is very different from what other people would want, and it would be very unique to yourself. So, yeah, that is the moon and Uranus in aspect, pretty much. I can't really think of anything else to add into that. So, yeah, hope you enjoy it.